Okay, I'm going to turn another one of these. Now, the idea with this is to make a Christmas tree, although it's going to be a little bit different style. I'm going to see how this looks. It may not, the idea is to take the bark off of it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens now. To make sure everything is taken care of, all this is set. That's tight, that's tight. Okay, so first off, I want to make sure it would stand off to the side when you turn it on. Okay, we're good. Okay, so now, normally I use a gouging tool with this. So I'm going to bring out my heavy duty gouging tools for this. Okay, so here's my gouging tool. So you don't want to use this when you're doing fine tuning it because it leaves gouges. That's why they call it a gouging tool. Duh. The idea between this too is also you want to have it at an angle when you're curving this. You don't want to be like this, although sometimes you're going to be. No, that's not a bad idea there. I don't know. I kind of like that a little bit. Okay. First off, I want to show you something. So this is why I tell people I need to put a backstop back here. Okay, you see my box? See that? As I'm turning, stuff is going that way. The idea here is to take these two sides with this, bring this out further so it's out far enough. Now I've got this wood here, it's got grooves on it. So I'm going to make a wall here, same height, maybe a little bit, I have to drop it a little bit. Same thing with the other side. And then a curtain across the back, a curtain across the back behind me up here so I can slide it back and forth. Because it makes a holy living mess in here. And if I don't keep on top of this, kaboom. So, and I just realized something too. Okay, so why did I be able to use this? Okay, so hello, Jeff. All right, so now I can go the length again. Awesome, right? Awesome. Maybe I can pull a little bit more in. Again, you're going to be moving this thing around a lot. You want to stay on top of the tool, though. Like the way this is here, see that? The curve. Okay, so I don't use this that much. What I'll end up doing is going back and forth just enough to take what I want off, and then I'm going to start working my pattern. As I'm turning this, though, I'm feeling a dampness. Okay, so here's one note I'll point out to you as I'm turning it here. One thing is this bark holds a lot of moisture in it. So what happens is when you turn this, what I tend to do is let this set. I can feel the moisture in it all the way around. So this has been sitting here cut for a couple weeks. The problem with that is, now, the possibility of it splitting is very real. So, what I'm probably going to do here, once I turn this, I'm stopping. I'm going to take all the bark off, and then I'm going to take and seal these two ends with Acro-Seal. Because if I don't do it, and I try to turn this thing overnight, possibility is pretty real that I'm going to split the wood. The other thing is, too, when I'm turning it, this has a tendency to bounce it. So when I'm going over here, it's getting that, but then it wants to bounce around. So that's the other thing. You don't want to take too many grooves. You notice now, this side is wider than this side. And I'm not worried about that because I'm going to be shaping the tree this way anyways. So... See, you're there, almost to the end there. You see how much I'm taking off? Taking off quite a bit. And you have to think about this when you make your own, whatever you're going to make. You have to, and my idea with this was to take it all down, get rid of the bark, and then do something without the bark on it. I can make a snowman out of this if I wanted to, or a Christmas tree. But the idea with me was to make a Christmas tree. Well, you've got a little bit of red in here. All right, so this is because the way this log it was, I shaped oblong, like kind of like an egg in a way. When I go to carve, man, it might be kind of cool looking. If I make a snowman, the same thing. But this time I want to make something without the bark on it. We're almost there. So I'm going to use something different. But you see how this is putting out stuff like this. That's what you want. You know you got a sharp tool. My friend John did this in my woodworking club. So thank you, John, for doing that. So now what I'm going to do is use another tool. Just take a little bit more off. And it's this one. So that's pretty good. But you see how that does that? You know, it's kind of tearing a little bit, but you can tell it's wet. Okay, so that's, I'm not worried about that because that's what I've got this for. Let's smooth it out a little bit. Much better, much better. See, you can tear the wood real easy when it's wet. Okay, so now, what my idea, and you can see right here how it's doing that. So what my idea here is I'm going to put this over here on the chop saw and straighten the bottom and the top out a little bit. Okay, now this leans a little bit, but that's not a problem. Now what I'll do is I'll put this in my kiln overnight too, because I want to dry it out. It's, if you look at it, you see how this is. See how that is? That's because the shape of the wood was oblong. So the center is going to be kind of interesting how I do this. So now I'm going to be going into my kiln with this. I gotta clean this place up. Now, for any of you guys that have never seen my kiln, I'll have to show you. That's basically it. Not much. I put a couple of grates in there, and let's see. I gotta get this plugged in. Right here. You can tell my shop's a mess. Okay, so now I'm going to put that in here. Let it set overnight. Hopefully, what I usually do is I turn this thing on and off. On and off. So it's not like it's going to get a lot of... Okay, so that works there. So, anyway. Now these are my other tools. There's another, just a bigger gouging tool. The notorious bull gouge everybody says I should be using, but I like using other carbide tip one, much easier. And that one works pretty cool. And kind of a parting tool. But here's my problem. 5 tools I do not use. And I'm sorry, but for all the traditionalists, I like using the carbide tip ones over here. Because these carbide tip ones are much easier to take care of. Now, I know people say you need to sharpen, you gotta get sharp, you learn how to sharpen. I know, no. Sharp, right? But my frustration is, having tried several times, haven't done it right several times, I'd rather pay the guy $15 to do all three of these, than I would, or get these instead. The carbide tip one's much easier. Now, these are a little bit different story. I've got to figure out how to do those myself. I think I'm going to do them by hand. But these are the ones that I do this. I'll use on pins and small ornaments, because they're a little bit easier to do their angle. They're a little bit easier to manage. This one here too. This one I like one of the most. I use that the most. But it's like this. I used to use this a lot, but it's a pain to take and sharpen because of the angle. And if you look at it, it's actually butchered right now. So that's not good. This one's just like this one here. You can use it to cut off a parting tool. But again, it's butchered. Anyway, the chuck is right here too. I've got my chuck, it's sitting there. I'm gonna rearrange this whole thing. My idea here is, like I said, to put wall up here. I have to figure out a way to run my airline because there's my vacuum cleaner. Then I got this on this side, and then I'm gonna put a cover over the top behind me so that I don't get all this stuff going back here. As you can see, I'm limited. So I try to put everything on wheels. I would put this up on the bench, except you see how deep it is? It's like 2 feet deep. And I do use all 2 feet deep worth of it too. I can cut the width of a plywood, a 2 foot sheet. That's that. So, but see, the other thing is too, I always tell people, keep your sawdust. Down here, it doesn't take long to get filled up. So that's the other thing. I almost wish that this was sunk down and there was a pit here. It would all fall in a pit. And then you could scrape and, scrap. It'd be easier to get a hold of and use that. But sawdust, I usually use this for oil dry. Which reminds me, I have to get another bag full of this stuff. But anyway, now, this is a reminder. I'll be on at 7 o'clock tonight, Facebook, on my Dutchman's Woodchuck. All right? And then tomorrow, I'll be on at 7 o'clock at my YouTube channel. Same station, same time, different station. So please stop by. I'm trying to get people to subscribe to my YouTube channel because it needs it. And I really would love to hear from you guys. So if you can't get me, let me know what you would love to see me do. What would you like to see me do? I got this coming holiday season, I've got a couple ideas I'm gonna pop out there for you guys, but I don't want to do it right now until I get my whole program set up here. So, at that note, I'll let you guys go. Like I always say, if you're not making sawdust, you're not being creative. So, at that note, get with the program and start